Howdy fixers! So today we're going after the core plugs or free plugs on a 83 Dodge D150 pickup. And this is the core plug behind the starter over on the driver's side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working. I worked it with this big one here, but I'm going to use a screwdriver and just hit the very edge of it so I can kind of work it in so that it flips itself so that the top goes in and the bottom comes out, so that I'm able to grab my core plug and pull it out. So the main problem with these is that you get a whole bunch of rust and sediment that builds up behind this that you can see right here. The sediment built up and caused the hole to rust through, and that's why your core plug's bad. So I gotta pop this one out, and I got some brand new brass ones we're gonna stick in there, so it should extend the life even further than these other ones. You can see all the stuff's coming out. So I'm gonna take my screwdriver and kind of pry up or pry in, so it pops it out a little bit. You get a little bit of more stuff coming out. We'll make sure you have a drain pan. Just keep your mouth out of the way, and then you're going to catch all this stuff coming out. And once this is drained down, at least possible coming out, you grab a pair of pliers and yank it out. So some may say that I should drain the radiator, but I already had. It's just that you have all this water that's built up inside the block, and you almost can't ever get it all out, and you always make a mess when you do that. So with the core plug out, you can see all this roady stuff in there. It looks like mud. You want to pick all that out, and that's what happened to the back of our core plug. It rusted a hole through there where it's all rusty. And so I'm going to scoop all this stuff out, clean it out as good as I can so that the new plug doesn't have any of this built up on it. And I'll kind of spray up in there with some carb spray and stuff too to make sure that it seats well, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some RTV on my new core plug, and we're going to drive it in there. So I want the area to be free of antifreeze so that the RTV has a little bit of chance to seal. I'm not going to use a whole bunch, just enough, so if there's a little bit imperfection in the block, that's going to make the difference. So now that I got the core plug all cleaned out, I'm going to get all my stuff that was building up behind the core plug and causing it to rot out. So I'm just using a screwdriver to dig it all out and make it pretty. Alright, so now that I got my core plug hole all clean, I'm going to take my core plug, I'm going to slather some oil resistant RTV on it, and I'm going to use my core plug driving tool. So I'm going to kind of push it in there a little bit, make sure it's good and steady, and then I'm going to drive it in with my tool. So I'm just going to use a hammer and this oddly bent thing, and it's going to drive my core plug in until you hear it go solid against the block, and that's when you know that you're all the way in. Now I'm just going to inspect my core plug, make sure it's all the way in. On this one side it's up just a little bit, so I'm just going to tap a little bit. I'm not really going to hit it that hard because you can crack your block if you hit too hard because it is cast. So I'm just tapping on the side to make sure that it goes in just a little bit more, but it's fine. Alright, so now that I'm going to take this starter and put it back up in there, and we're going to make sure everything's tightened and go on to the other side. So I'm going to replace the core plug on the other side because it should be the same condition. I couldn't get that good of a shot, so here it is. It's draining out. I hit it once with a screwdriver, and then I start to hit it a little bit more, and then yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the core plug out with my pliers now, and I can reach my finger in there and just pull out the grossness. Get that out of there, and then do the same I did to this side that I did to the other. So I did the same to this side that I did to the other, and it looks great. Going back together.
Fixer good.
Yeah, fixer. Be wrong.